Hey guys, good afternoon. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and you are tuned into, yes, Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so happy you decided to join me. Today is April 19th, 2025, the day before Easter. Wow, can you believe that? Anyway, welcome everyone. I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always a privilege, of course, a pleasure, and of course, an honor to be with you guys every single time that you are here on the show. So great to be with everyone here. Thank you so much for being here with me. Have lots to share with you and invite you to check out believemeachieve.com, of course, after the show is over, not now. All right, guys. Maybe you want to head over to the kitchen to get something yummy or maybe delicious to eat. Feel free to do that and hurry on back, everyone. All right. Okay. So let's dive into this. The master topic for the week is speak to be heard. So let's kick the show off for everybody. All right. All right. So again, big welcome to everyone. I'm not only a podcast host, but I'm also a podcast coach and a serial entrepreneur, and I'm passionate about the way we need to speak to change our world. So today, I'm going to be exploring something powerful yet often overlooked: the art of clear speech and effective communication. Whether you're delivering a keynote, like I do many times, making a business pitch, or having a heart to heart with someone, how to say what you say is very important. Okay. And in this episode, I'm going to cover that. All right. All right. And we'll make some great impacts so you can deliver with confidence. So get ready, everyone, to fine tune your tone, elevate your enunciation, and perfect your pacing. Your best voice is waiting. So let's help find it together. Number one, articulate words clearly to avoid mumbling or slurring. Clear articulation is the foundation of impactful communication. When you mumble or slow your words, listeners have to work harder to understand you, and often they'll stop trying altogether. Speaking clearly shows that you are respecting both their words and, of course, the audience to which you are communicating with. So practice opening your mouth more when you speak and emphasize the beginning and the end of each word. Really important. Over time, this will build natural clarity, and that comes across as confidence and, of course, intentional. So, what are you waiting for, guys? Let's start doing that. Whether you're on a stage or on a phone call, a Zoom, crisp articulation earns attention and trust. Number two, be mindful of dropping word endings. Example, going versus going. In casual conversations, dropping word endings might seem harmless, even friendly. But in professional or formal settings, it can undermine, yes, your message. Saying going instead of going might save a syllable, but it can make you sound rushed, lazy, or unpolished. Listeners subconsciously pick up on these cues. Make a conscious effort to pronounce full word endings, especially with verbs and action words. This simple shift gives your speech more authority and demonstrates care for how you're perceived. Practice enunciation with tongue twisters and slow reading. One of the best ways to improve your enunciation is by working out your mouth muscles and tongue. Okay. Twisters are your vocal gym. So try classics like she sells seashells by the seashore, or red lorry, yellow lorry. Again, she sells seashells by the seashore. She sells she sells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. So you don't want to rush that. She sells seashells by the seashore. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Speak them slowly and clearly, then speed up as you gain control. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. All right. So that's a real good thing to do, these tongue twisters. And pair this with daily slow reading um, aloud. And reading aloud forces you, ladies and gentlemen, to focus on every single word. which builds muscle memory for clarity. Over time, this practice will train your voice to default to crisp, articulate speech, even under pressure. Number four, guys, record yourself to check for clarity and pronunciation. This is one of my favorites. Most people are surprised by how they sound when they listen to a recording of themselves. That surprise is your opportunity for growth. When you record your voice, you hear it from the listener's perspective, the pace, the clarity, the tone, and whether your words land effectively. Start small by recording short introductions or sample presentations. Play them back critically, but constructively, and ask, were my words clear? Was I too fast? Did I mumble? These self checks are like mirror time for your voice. They help you polish and project the best version of your sound. Number five, use tone to convey emotion and intent. Your tone is the emotional color of your communication. It's what tells someone you're excited, serious, empathetic, or disappointed. Even if the words themselves don't say so, tone adds emotional depth and personality to your message. When used intentionally, it can build connection and, of course, clarity. Want to inspire? Use an uplifting, confident tone. Need to calm someone? Lower your voice and slow your delivery pace. Remember, your tone tells the story behind the words. Make sure it matches your message. Number six, match your tone to the message and audience. Not every tone fits every situation. Think of tone as your wardrobe. You wouldn't wear gym shorts to a job interview, and you shouldn't use a casual tone in a serious conversation. Matching your tone to your audience shows emotional intelligence and respect. Before speaking, ask yourself, who am I talking to? What is the goal of this communication? Then adjust your energy, volume, and inflection to align with the setting. When tone and audience are in sync, your words resonate more deeply and leave a lasting impression. Avoid monotone delivery to keep listeners engaged. Monotone speech, where every sentence sounds the same, is a sure way to lose your audience's attention. Humans are wired to respond to vocal variety. Think of your voice like music, pitch, volume, and the rhythm. They all are attributes that add life to your message. Practice reading out loud with deliberate rises and falls in your tones. Emphasize keywords. Change your pace slightly between thoughts. A dynamic thought, dynamic voice keeps listeners curious and engaged, while a flat delivery makes even the best ideas fall flat. Right? You get the point, right? Number eight, adjust tone based on the context and the audience feedback. Real time communication is like a dance. You have to read the room. If your audience looks confused or disengaged, it might be time to shift up or change your tone. Are you coming off too strong, too soft, too robotic? Adjust on the fly. Maybe you need more energy, more warmth, or more pause. You get the point, right? Staying flexible and responsive with your tone makes your communication feel live and authentic. It tells your audience and shows them you're not just speaking at them, you're speaking with them. Number nine, maintain a moderate speaking pace, about 140 to 160 words per minute, roughly. Speed can be your ally or your enemy. Speaking too fast overwhelms listeners, while speaking too slow puts them to sleep. The ideal pace for clarity and comprehension is about 140 to 160 words per minute. To develop this rhythm, try reading short passages aloud and timing yourself. Practice breathing between sentences and focus on one thought at a time. When you maintain a moderate pace, your audience has the time to absorb and connect with what you're saying. And that's where impact happens. When they have the chance to pause, when they have the chance to understand what is it you're actually saying, right? That might sound a little bit crazy, but it actually is the truth. All right. I think that's a very, very important thing. You have to realize that because that's where it happens. Number 10, using strategic pauses to emphasize key points. So, as I said, pauses aren't just breaks, they're power moves. A well timed pause draws attention, it builds anticipation and gives your message space to land. Think of a pause as a punctuation for your voice. After making a powerful statement, pause for a second or two. Let your audience process it. Use pauses to separate ideas and shift focus. Don't be afraid of silence, it often speaks louder than words. With practice, strategic pauses will become natural and essential parts of your speaking rhythm. Number 11, breathe. You remember the inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Right? 4, 7, 8 a couple times. Breathe to control pacing and reduce nervous speed. When nerves kick in, we tend to talk faster, shallower, and lose our rhythm. That's where breath comes in. It's your built in anchor. Deep, intentional breathing not only calms your nervous system, but also gives your voice strength and stability. Practice diaphragmatic breathing before speaking. Inhale deeply through your nose, as we just said, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Doing that count like that 4, 7, 8 is a great one. This slows your pace down, supports your vocal strength, and keeps you centered. Your voice flows almost naturally and better when your body is calm. So think about that, guys. Really, really, really important. Number 12, combine enunciation, tone, and pacing for clear, impactful speech. Individually, these elements are powerful, but when combined, they create magnetic, masterful communication. Enunciation gives you precision, tone gives you presence. Let me say that again. Enunciation gives you precision, tone gives you presence, pacing gives you poise. When these three are aligned, your voice carries authority and authenticity. Listeners are more likely to trust, remember, and act on your message. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Practice combining these tools in everyday conversations and watch your influence start to grow. Number 13, developing a pre speaking warm up to prepare your voice and mind. Just like athletes warm up before a game, stretching, etc., speakers should warm up before talking. This primes your vocal cords, clears your mind, and centers your energy, maybe taking a glass of water. Your routine might include the vocal warm ups, like I mentioned, maybe humming, lip trills, breathing exercises, and a few tongue twisters. Even a short mental mantra like, I speak with clarity and confidence, can help immensely. Preparation reduces anxiety and boosts fear, allowing you to show up fully present and ready to speak your truth. I know we covered a lot here, guys, but my big question for you is, do you pay attention to your speaking? Or do you just kind of like say, I don't know, it was one talk, I'm just going to do the best I can, right? No. So now what I want to do is I want to give you basically a personal story for each point that I shared today. All right. And hopefully that'll cement it. Okay. Hopefully that'll cement it. I think when I start to give you personal things to do, it's like this amazing moment where we have the ability to do things that we didn't even know existed. Okay. We didn't even know that existed. So that's an important piece, guys. Really important. So I want to share some of these stories that I have here. You know, when your voice isn't just heard, it's understood, it's respected. And remember, everyone, it is remembered. It is remembered. So I think sometimes we have a challenge of trying to figure out, why is something going a certain way or why is it going another way? And I think that happens to us for the main reason that we, basically start swimming before we're ready. It's like we went in the pool, but we forgot to take off, our shirt, or other things that we had on us. And I think those are really important things. So, without any further ado, let me go through some of these stories that I've come up with, and they've happened in my life. One of them is when we talk about articulating words clearly to avoid mumbling and slurring. I remember once giving a presentation in college when I was an undergrad, and I was so nervous I barely moved my mouth. A friend later told me they couldn't understand half of what I said. That feedback hit hard, but became a turning point. It was during some presentation for a topic I really didn't enjoy, because I love doing keynote speaking. I started practicing opening my mouth more and exaggerating sounds, even when it was a topic that I enjoyed. So, which felt odd at first, but eventually made my speech clearer and stronger. It was a game changer. Be mindful of dropping word endings. I used to say things like, I'm gonna, I wanna, I shoulda, right? A lot when I first started in my business over 30 some years ago. I thought it made me sound approachable, but one day after a pitch, a client told me I sounded rushed and unpolished. I didn't realize how much impact those little dropped endings had until then. Ever since that moment, I've been more mindful of speaking with complete words, especially in professional settings. Practice enunciation with your tongue, right? Using twisters and slow reading. Years ago, when preparing for my first podcast, I struggled with sound, being clear to go through the microphone and confident, because it was just me and basically one or two people out there, or zero people. I started doing tongue twisters each morning. One of my favorites was Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. By doing this, we put a strong concentration on the words unique New York. Unique New York. At first, I stumbled through them. Unique New York. But after a few weeks, my articulation improved dramatically. Unique New York. That routine became a pre-show ritual that still helps me today. The next point, record yourself to check for clarity and pronunciation. I remember when I listened to myself on a recording that was a training session for me, I was shocked at how unclear I sounded compared to how I thought I sounded in real time. That experience has taught me the value of recording and reviewing myself. I record all the time, so I'm always watching these. But what I've learned is that I need to slow down. It became strong feedback for me in a loop that improved my delivery and helped me correct things I hadn't noticed before. Sometimes I'm always concerned about staying within a certain time frame. But hey, if my time frame gets off and the program goes over a little bit, I can cut something out when I edit it to send it to TV stations if that's the main concern. Because some of these TV stations, they're really picky that I fall right at 28 minutes and let's say 30 seconds or 28, 45 or 29. There's a lot of things that have to be done precisely. And there's a little bit of a buffer, but not a lot. So that's important to understand too. Use tone to convey emotion and intent. Early in my speaking career, I gave a talk that I thought was motivational, but someone told me afterward that I sounded cold and robotic. That hurt, but it also opened my eyes. I started practicing with different tones and recording them to hear how they felt and sounded. Now, I make a conscious effort to let emotion guide my delivery and connect more deeply with the audience I'm communicating with. Match your tone to the message and audience. I once used a very upbeat tone in a serious board meeting. I thought I was bringing energy in, but a colleague pulled me aside afterward and said it felt tone deaf. I was like, what? That moment taught me the importance of reading the room, and now I ask myself, what tone does the situation really call for? And adjust accordingly. Avoid monotone delivery. We all know this. I once gave a webinar where I read from slides almost the entire time in a flat voice. This was a topic I wasn't crazy about, but I was just reading because it was so much information and it was of a highly specific medical subject. The feedback, you lost me halfway through. That was tough to hear, but it motivated me to bring more variety into my voice. Now I use pitch changes, pauses, and emphasis to make sure I keep people interested from start to finish. Adjust your tone based on the context and audience feedback. During a virtual workshop, I noticed participants turning all different ways and tuning out from me. Faces were going blank. Energy became low. I paused and I asked a question in a lighter, more friendly, engaging tone. And suddenly people started participating. That taught me that feedback isn't always verbal. You have to watch and feel the energy and be willing to adjust on the fly, right on the spot. Maintain a moderate speaking pace. In one of my first tech presentations, I crammed in way too much content and spoke at lightning speeds. Someone joked afterward that they needed subtitles. It was funny, but it made me realize I needed to slow down just a hair. I started practicing time speeches to stay within the 140 to 160 words per minute range. My messages became clearer and the response improved. I adjust my speed based on the questions in the room, based on what I see in the room. I think that's a very important point, everyone, to understand that, right? Using strategic pauses to emphasize key points. This is one that I think is a big one, and a lot of people don't get this, but it's really true. So I used to fear silence during talks. I'd rush from one point to the next just so I didn't have to hear a silence. Then a mentor said to me, "Your words need space to breathe." I was like, huh? He said, "I started observing you, and I don't think you ever took a breath." I started after that moment using short pauses after important statements. It felt awkward at first, but I saw how it gave my words more weight and allowed the audience to absorb what I had said. Now I use pauses as punctuation, not just in reading something, but whenever I do any type of a presentation or a keynote. Breathe to control pacing and reduce nervous speeds. Before a big keynote, I remember pacing backstage, a heart pounding, barely breathing moment. I walked out and rushed through the intro. Afterwards, someone asked, "Were you nervous?" That's when I realized my breath controls everything. I began practicing deep breathing before every talk. It centers me and slows my speech naturally. Even though I don't really get nervous before a presentation, sometimes when things become all at once, my body gets into a nervous state. So I have to realize I need to calm it down. Even though I don't feel I'm nervous, that could sometimes come through my talk. So I have to make sure that I'm aware of that. Combine enunciation, tone, and pacing for clear, impactful speech. Remember giving a speech where everything just clicked. I was clear, expressive, everything just flowed. I was clear, I was expressive, and most importantly, I was calm and in alignment with my audience. Afterward, a listener said, "You really spoke to me. It felt like it came right from your heart." That comment stuck. It wasn't just one technique that worked, it was the combination of techniques. That's when I knew great speaking is like a symphony of multiple elements working together. Do you like to listen to a great piece of music with just a piano or just a harp or just a drum or just a guitar? Of course not. You want to have a combination or a soliloquy of instruments. Develop a pre-speaking warm-up to prepare your voice and mind. You could get some water. One time I jumped into a live broadcast without warming up. My voice cracked a little bit and my mind felt scattered. I learned my lesson. Now I do lip trills, tongue twisters, and a short affirmation before every talk. I speak with clarity and confidence. That small ritual centers me and gets me in the zone, if you will, to deliver and be my best. For me, I don't do this because I have to. I do it because I want to. Does that make sense, everyone? I hope it does, because I think some people, they just get lost. And when I say they get lost, they don't necessarily know why they're lost, but they're lost. All right? They just get very, 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 very lost. That could happen to you. All right? If we think about the fact that, we could make a mistake, of course we're going to make the mistake. But if we focus on being good, as we focus on the fact that there's more to our life than just that moment, right? And that's something for a lot of people out there to hopefully click and resonate with. Does that make sense with you guys? All right. So this helps me recall back a very, very important formula. Um, and you might know the formula. It's called the 738-55 rule by Mekarabian. I've talked about it before. When you communicate, 7% of the impact comes from the words you choose. 38% of your message comes from how you say the word. 55% of your communication comes from what you don't say. Your body language. That's pretty powerful, guys. Really powerful. All right. So as we get ready to wrap up today's episode, I want you to remember this. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal that you'll ever own. It's not just about sounding good. It's about connecting. It's about leading and inspiring. Whether you're speaking to a room of hundreds or having a one-on-one conversation, how you deliver your words and message can uplift, influence, and even transform someone's experience. Your clarity becomes their clarity. Your confidence becomes their confidence. Communication is a craft, folks. And like any craft, it sharpens with intention and practice. From articulating each word with care to tuning your tone for the audience, every adjustment you make is a step toward mastery. Don't wait for a big stage or that perfect moment. It's never going to happen. Start in everyday interactions. Your meetings, your voice notes, your casual conversations is where it starts from. Over time, these small shifts build a voice that people not only hear, but truly remember. So keep showing up every day. Keep fine-tuning, and most importantly, keep speaking your truth with purpose. That's important. With purpose. Your words matter, your tone matters, and you matter. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to not only watch today or listen to today's show, but making the choice to be open to new information that actually could, in fact, change the quality of your life. For those of you who don't remember, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I invite you to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations 24 hours a day, and to rewatch shows if you happen to miss them. If there's an idea, a thought, or a topic you'd like me to cover, well, reach out to us at BelieveMeAchieve.com, and we'll be sure to get it on the list and get it out to you so you can become a better version of yourself. Have a great one, everyone.